Welcome to this TMS tutorial video. In today's video, we're going to be going through how to do debt consolidation calculations for clients using tactical mortgage solutions. So on the home refinance section, start a new strategy session. And then you can just label it what you'd like, debt consolidation calculations. You can put the client's name in here or whatever you'd like there. And then you'll be able to add the property details. So first is 123 Blueberry Street, 950,000. So then you've got the property value in there. And then once you start adding debts, it'll automatically work out a total loan to value for you. So let's say in this scenario, a client has been offered a renewal rate from their lender. They're deciding, should I just renew or should I actually consolidate debt that I have as part of this mortgage? So let's add, so not as part of this mortgage, or do I debt that I have to the side as well as this mortgage. So let's just say RBC, mortgage, and lender. You can put RBC in here, and by putting the lender in, it'll also calculate any penalties if you're midway through the term. So in this scenario, we're going to do a side-by-side comparison as if they're at their renewal. So let's say they've been offered prime less 0.8, or even just a rate that may be harder to compete with, just to show in this example how it can still be really helpful. So, and then let's say their renewal date is in 5 years from today. Their mortgage amount, outstanding mortgage balance. And you can get this all from the statement. Let's say 2,500. Okay, so their amortization is around 22 years. So you can see the penalty here of breaking this during the term. So we don't need the penalty right now because this is, let's say this is what, let's say the renewal date was is today. So we're just working out, okay, over the next 5 years, should they just renew into this, or should they consolidate that debt they have over the next 5 years? So then now we can add that additional debt. So firstly, let's say they have a credit card for RBC credit card. So you can click on the credit card section here and add that here. So let's say that's $10,000. And then it'll show you what interest-only payments are once you put in the rate, and also what the minimum payments are as well. So let's say they have to make a minimum payment on their credit card. There's also other items here, so mortgage, home equity line of credit, credit card, unsecured line of credit, car loan, personal loan, student loan, and then another item as well that you can add. So next, let's add an unsecured line of credit. RBC, okay, let's say they have 35,000 on that. Let's say the rate is 9.95. And they have to make interest-only payments on that one, so not the minimum payment. And this is just an automatic calculation. If you have details from the statements, you can put these in, or you can just estimate for clients as well. And then the next key thing as well is you may want to add a certain amount to just show them what legal appraisal is, or you can just factor this in down below. So we can see their mortgage amount is 400,000, and then the other debt is an additional 40. Their mortgage amount is 400,000, and their additional debt's around 45,000 here. So you can see this as you add them above, they all filter down here below. It shows a total payment amount here as well. So one thing you may want to do is, this is the amount requested. So it's assuming you just want to request the total of whatever you put in here. So let's say you wanted to factor in legal and appraisal costs. You can add that in, add an item to refinance here. Legal and appraisal. You can include in the refinance total or not. So let's say include in the refinance total. So then it includes that as well. So you'll see a bit of a before and after. So even though you're including that as a cost of the refinance, you can see the before is 445, whereas the after actually includes this additional cost. So you're really giving a like-for-like comparison, saying, well, if we make this change, there's additional costs, but are we still saving you money? So once you have this information in, you can really start breaking down things for the clients. So depending on what their priorities are, let's say you're able to offer a variable, but it's not quite as competitive. Let's say one of the things you're talking about is you're going to offer them an adjustable rate mortgage where their payments will change, rather than at RBC where their payments will stay the same, for example. But let's say cash flow is really important to the clients, or they just want to see how can they get their payments as low as possible. Let's say you can offer prime less 0.7. So the rate is 0.2 higher, but you can see here the before and after how, okay, well, if we were to spread the payments over 30 years by consolidating that debt, you could save, $600 plus in cash flow every month. And then there's still savings because you're consolidating higher interest debt within your mortgage. There's still savings of a couple of $1,000s for you. The clients may see, oh, but my balance is because I'm amortizing over too long, I don't want my balance, I want to keep paying my mortgage down. So now is when you can start playing around with the numbers. So the amortization was 22 years. So let's say 25 years here. Let's change it to lower and see how these numbers look. So you're making more savings because, but this cash flow benefit is not as much. Let's say the clients say, okay, well, I'm happy with this $3,000 amount, but I want to bring the rates down on some of my higher interest debt. Let's see where 20 is, and we can just play around with these to try and get as close as possible. So here, this looks like a good scenario for them. So through refinance for them into a variable, even though the rate is slightly higher, if you were to refinance over 20 years, you can still have payments where you're saving around $90 a month. Your balance owing at the end of your term will be around $9,000 lower than it would have been, keeping the debts and paying them down as you have been. And there's a total savings of over $6,000 for you. So this is a really good example of how breaking down the numbers, not only can you show them, okay, this is the total debt, and really kind of visualize this for them and show them what they're paying in a before and after scenario, but it also gets that conversation away from just rate. I've deliberately chosen a higher rate than their current lender is offering, because this is a really good reason for clients to refinance, because the savings are still significant. Even if you can't beat the rate of their lender, if they have debt that they want to consolidate, this is a really effective way of showing them that actually you can save a lot of money by structuring things in the right way. Even if the rate of your mortgage isn't quite as good, by paying everything else off, there are still more savings than you would have with your current lender if you're just renewing as is. And not to mention, you're adding $2,500 for legal and appraisal fees, and this factors all of that in as well. So I hope that helps. This is a bit of a tutorial of it. Let's say this scenario is you have a renewal, a client's deciding whether they should renew or they should refinance and do a debt consolidation with yourself. I'd love to hear your thoughts, any comments below, and feel free to reach out if you have any questions. Thanks.